Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to our February Alumni Speaker Series. My name is Lindsay Kelly, and I'm the Director of Alumni Relations and Career Development for the LSU College of Agriculture. And we are very excited to have Mr. Carlos Giron here with us today. I had to practice his name a few times before saying, and so, but again, we're excited to have him on campus and to speak to our students both in person and virtually. Before we get started, though, I want to recognize a few people and organizations. Is it transferring? There we go. And also remind you to register for this event and share your feedback. You'll have an opportunity at the end of the talk to utilize the QR code as well. But don't forget to share your feedback because that's how we improve upon what we're doing and providing for our students. This event obviously wouldn't be possible without our partnership with Campus Federal. So I want to recognize them. We appreciate their continued support of this event. And we actually have someone on campus in here today to speak a little bit and share what Campus Federal does for LSU and the community.
Thank you, Nancy. So I just want to say that Campus Federal is happy to partner with the LSU Agricultural Student Association to sponsor the College of Ag Alumni Speaker Series. This is a great opportunity for students to hear from alumni regarding their careers. And just like these alumni who want to help make a difference in your life, so does Campus Federal. We were started in 1934. We are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations here on campus, here in the Student Union, and we have one on South Quad Drive near the Energy Coast and Environment building. Campus Federal is committed to excellent member experiences with continual investments in our digital and physical presence. You can visit us at campusfederal.org to learn more about our products and services, open an account, and check out our extensive financial education resources. So even if you aren't a member, you can look at different topics and maybe get a little more experience in different financial topics. So I hope that you'll take advantage of that and look on our website. And just know that Campus Federal strives to be a trusted financial partner in every stage of your life. Thanks again to the College of Ag, and good luck to all of you.
Thanks, Campus Federal. So our speaker series, as was mentioned, is coordinated by our Ag Student Association. And so today we have President Ms. Kayla Benton here to introduce our speaker. Kayla.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla Benton. I'm the current president of the Ag Student Association. Thank you guys for coming out. What we do as the Ag Student Association is we help students as well. We help let them have a voice, and then we also put together events, and we do service events as well. But overall, we're just making sure that the student environment is most suitable for them in their career as they go through all 4 years here. And again, I wanted to introduce Dr. Giron, who received a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Management Systems from the College of Agriculture in 1998. He serves as the Vice President and Client Account Manager for Jacobs Engineering and is responsible for the Louisiana and Arkansas geographies. Jacobs Engineering has over 55,000 employees around the world and $14 billion in annual revenue. It has had offices in Louisiana for over 35 years and serves state and local infrastructure clients. Mr. Giron's 25-year career involves many leadership positions, including project management, geographic operations leaders, area manager, and office management. He previously worked as an environmental remediation consultant and project manager for Conestoga Rovers and Associates and professional service industries, currently in Turk PSI. Mr. Giron is a registered professional geoscientist in the state of Louisiana. He and his wife, Yvonne, reside in Baton Rouge and have 1 child who is about to start college. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Giron.
All right. No, thank you, Kayla. And So like she said, my name's Carlos. I'm going to be talking today about a number of different things. What I hope to get is a little bit of a dialogue back and forth, right? I can stand up here all day and tell you about my journey. There's been a very reflective process for me to kind of look back on, what led me to where I am today. But I think, everyone's journey is a little bit different. And I think as y'all are beginning to think about, your future, where you're headed, to me, that's the biggest value, right? So, you can't go into any meeting without an agenda. That's something that was kind of just driven into me throughout my career. You should always have an agenda for any meeting you go into, and you should always come away with action items. Otherwise, what's the point of the meeting? So some of the things I'm going to go into is just have an introduction. I want to talk about, my time at LSU and specifically give you all a little bit on my journey. When I went to LSU, I basically said, I want to be an environmental consultant. I really didn't know what that meant. I have been an environmental consultant throughout my whole professional career, but I've done a ton of different roles within that field. Right now, my primary role is growth and sales. And if you had told me, when I was your age sitting there that I'm going to be in sales, it would have been the furthest thing from my mind. But as I reflect back, I now kind of understand what my strengths are and how that really moved me towards that place. So I'm going to talk about my journey. And then project management, which, I've always worked within the framework of being a project manager. It's really important, whether you're an official project manager or you're just helping on projects, having that construct really valuable. Just frontline leadership. And like I said, where I am now. And I'd like to talk a little bit about Jacobs, right? So I've been working for them for 15 years now. It's a fantastic company. So just kind of give a broad overview of the firm and then locally, what we do here. And then hopefully, as I've gone through these things, I've got a single slide on kind of tools for success, things that I think will help all of you in your careers and as you move forward. And I know all of you are going to be successful. You never had the opportunity to have someone maybe reflect back at the beginning of my career. So hopefully you'll get some value out of these talks. And stop at any time, raise your hand, ask a question. It does not have to be a one-way dialogue. If you don't understand something I'm talking about, please stop me. But so just a little bit, I was born in Baton Rouge. My mother's from Sandoval, very small, right outside Gonzales. My father was from Honduras. They met at LSU. But before I was even a year old, I moved to Houston. So I grew up in Houston, but I always came back to Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas. That was home. That's what we did every, probably 3 times a year. So with them both being alumni of LSU, what really pulled me was I'd been to campus. I knew how beautiful it was. I knew the history. But for me, going to college was going away. So I left Houston and I came here, and it's been an unbelievable ride. If I think about it, if I had gone to the close by colleges, wouldn't have met my wife, wouldn't have had all my great friends that I have now, wouldn't have my daughter. So there's so many great things that have happened about moving away and stretching a little bit. You can see the pictures of my family, right? So that's my wife, Yvonne. She's a registered nurse, and my daughter, Savannah. She's about to embark on college herself. She wants to be an engineer. Like I said, my father ended up being an engineer. My mother was a science teacher. So I think being an environmental consultant who now, works for a big engineering firm, kind of the stars were aligned, and I ended up in the right place, even if that wasn't my, intent early on. And then outside of work, which I do love the job and I love the work. Some of my passions, of course, are coastal fishing. I'll talk about how that kind of affected my career. Kind of finding your passion is really, really important in everything that you're going to do. So, my time at LSU, I was joking earlier. I was like, how did y'all get my name to come up here and talk? Because I was not a stellar student. My first semester at LSU I had an 8-year college career, right? And I looked at some of the other speaker series. I have an undergraduate degree. I don't have multiple degrees. I don't have masters and PhDs and whatnot, right? So how did that come about? I was not a stellar first-year student. I basically wasn't focused. I didn't do all of the things that I needed to do. And I dropped out of school for 2.5 years. I went back, I got a job in the restaurant industry. And then I had to pay for school. And I made really good grades once I had to start paying for school. And one of those lessons learned, and I've got that in there, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You know, about my junior year, I was, and I can't remember, Dr. Walsh, what class it was, but I realized I was going to be behind my peers, right? I was going to be behind others, and how could I begin to differentiate myself to get a job? And because I was, you know, several years behind at this point. And so I took a class with Dr. Walsh, and she ended up bringing me on as a research associate. And then I got to meet Dr. Ralph Portier, where I basically embarked on bioremediation, right? And so that allowed me to get in the field, get a lot of training and get real world experience that then helped me get my first job. And so I think, you know, ways you can differentiate yourself are really, really important, because although you're not in sales right now, you're going to be in sales when you get out into the workforce and start trying to get a job. You have to be able to differentiate yourselves from the competition. It's always that, and what else? Yes, I've got great grades, but what else do you do? Do you do things in the community? Are you invested in mentorship? Are you how are you giving back? All of those things will really play into getting the best job when you're looking for that employment. Like I said, for me, that was just, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And so I did end up going back to school for Coastal for a master's degree. My passion, I talked about that earlier. I got into the consulting world and started doing environmental remediation. So that's, looking at sites and cleaning them up. And I gained a technical background. It's very important to have a technical background, not just how you're doing work, but really differentiating yourselves. Find that thing that really you're passionate about. And typically in many professional environments, it is the technical piece, right? And so for me actually, let me pause there and just ask a question. So who does anyone want to be a consultant? Does anyone know what a consultant is? So you want to be a consultant? At the moment, okay. What do you think is probably the best thing about being a consultant?
The mission, the overall mission.
Okay. What do you think is the worst thing about being a consultant?
Paperwork.
So it's good answers, right? So if you ask me, being one for 22 years, the best thing is diversity, right? The diversity of work that you get to work on. You're going to work for a bunch of different clients. You're going to get to work on a bunch of different projects. And so the diversity of the work is really, really fun, right? The challenging part is filling out your timesheet. Most people don't realize consultants are like lawyers. You basically, every hour you work, you have to say what you worked on, and then that gets billed to a client. That's how clients make money. So having really good time management is key. And that's literally, as I've done exit interviews on people who've left the field, that's the number one answer, right? And I didn't know that going in, and luckily it didn't derail me or get me, off my career path. But, finding out people who do what you think you want to do and talking to them, and then understanding, all right, what does that job really mean at the end of the day? That's really important. So that's just my little one-on-one on consultants, because I didn't know what I was getting into. It's been a great path for me, but it's also not for everyone. So back to the technical piece, right? So when I was kind of early on in my career, I had to learn about NEPA, the environmental, the National Environmental Protection Act, and that process. And I got very technical in that. But for me, it was that recap, right? So the thing that kind of moved the needle for me in my career was, that's a risk-based closure program that was very new to Louisiana, the state of Louisiana. And so when those regulations came out, it was right about the time I was coming up in my career, I really dove in and just buried myself within the framework of that type of work. And that's what differentiated myself from my competition. I started getting more and more sites, getting acknowledged by the company, and it really kind of bolstered me into full-on project management. And then in project management, continued to excel, right? So the 3 rules to project management, they're up there. So for any of y'all that want to go into it, right? Scope, schedule, and budget, right? That's, what are you going to do? When's it due? How much money do you have to spend it on? And so, project management applies to more than just being a project manager. Whatever career, whatever first job you get into, those are the first 3 questions. When you start your new job and they say, hey, we need you to do this. All right, when do you need it back by, right? How much time do I have to spend it on, and what's my project number? Like those are three just basic examples. So you're going to probably get into some form of task or project management in your careers, and it's a great framework to live by and to be accountable if you choose to be a consultant. And so then as I became a PM, I was asked, like, when I came over to Jacobs 3 months after getting moved over there, I changed jobs. I'd worked for a couple other consultants. So coastal restoration was my passion. I really got into fishing, seeing the coast because of some coastal classes I took at LSU. And I wanted to get into that field really badly. And the firm I was with was never going to be in coastal restoration. So I went to a firm that I knew would allow me to enter that field. So that's the passion, and that's actually what brought me to it was CH Jones Hill at the time, but now it's Jacobs. And seeing that firsthand and seeing the land loss issue that's going on in our state was really overpowering to me, and it's what really changed my whole career path. So I came over to Jacobs, and within 3 months, I was asked to be a staffing manager. So I'd only been on the job for 3 months, and they said, "Hey, we need you to manage all these 12 people." And I'd never been in staff management, and it was nervous, but it was a yes. So I found that yes is always the best answer, even if you're uncomfortable, right? It's better to stretch yourself a little than to just be so nervous and stay in your comfort zone. So within 3 months, I'm now managing about 12 people. Did a good job for a year, and then that grew to about 24. Get another job for a year, and so soon I was managing about 60 staff. And it taught you so many different things. It taught you the people skills, how to interact with others, how to get bad news, how to get good news, and how to mentor them. And so that was a big, I'd never managed people before. So that was a big growth effort for me. And then I was approached about being in sales and what we call client account management. So what does that mean? So in the engineering world, you have to pursue projects to do them. And, Jacobs basically treats sales like project management. We have a very defined sales process. A lot of it is relationship based. We don't necessarily want to just chase every project that's out there because we can do so much. So we have a very defined sales process. So as a client account manager, I'm allowed to set the strategy for Louisiana and Arkansas. Those are my areas of that I work in. It's a lot about team building. It's a lot about internal relationships and external relationships with clients. And, the last piece that I probably waited longer in my career to get a big handle on is business acumen, right? So what does that mean? Whoever you go to work for, how do they make money? And that's assuming you're on the private side. Even if you're on a nonprofit side, there's always, most businesses, want to stay afloat. They have to have cash flow, and you have to understand how they make money. And, in particular for me, because I'm in sales, it was really important. I work for we are a for-profit company. But understanding the business acumen of whichever field you land in, I think is really important. And if I look back and I could tell Carlos, 10 years ago, something that would have been it. Because I think I waited a little bit longer in my career to really dig in and understand the financial side. And if you express interest, I promise you, any company that you're working for is going to want you. They're going to be investing in you. So they're going to want to teach you that side of things. So that's like just a reflective point for me. So before I go into Jacobs, and I can tell you a little bit about the company and what all they do. Any questions in what I've asked or kind of talked about so far? Yes.
So you mentioned project management a lot. Is there any type of training that you're adding to it?
So yes. So pretty much any job you're going to go into, you're going to get a framework of training. I would say as a general, and so you remember my lens is consulting, right? That's pretty much what I've done for the last 25 years. The piece where there's sometimes a disconnect is consultants hire very technical people. Typically, I have an environmental science degree, an engineering degree, a geologist. They don't always teach the business side. And as you evolve into become a project manager, no one's hired as a project manager. You know, your typical path, career path is very technical. You're doing field work, you're out collecting data, you're writing reports, and then, you know, eventually you'll move into the project management. Yes, so you will get training on that specifically. I just think that all firms and most industry and most places you go, if you're a strong project manager, there's so many people skills that are involved with that. It's not just the technical. So, and in my defense, I guess the organizations I've worked for have been very project manager centric, meaning that the project manager controls so much. They get to select who's going to help them do the work on the team. They get to talk to the clients, right? They get to work on the billing and the invoices. So it really rounds you off well for growth, professional development. But great question. I didn't have any project management until you know, probably 5 years into my career when I really started managing projects. Yes.
What do you think, is it some advice you would give to someone that was not managing anyone?
People are, I'll ask, people or projects? No, I'm asking the question. People. So I will talk about it, right? So the soft side skills are so important, right? So for me personally, inclusion is a huge core value to me, right? I personally treat, you know, the front receptionist the same as the CEO. You have to treat everyone equally. I think you have to be open to suggestions. You have to be open to criticism. You know, one of the reasons, and I'll talk about it for Jacobs, like one of the values of diversity and inclusion, I mean, I'll just be honest, engineering for many years was a white male dominated industry. You looked at the boardrooms were all white men, right? And the thought now and the realization is, you know, the more diverse you are, the stronger you are. And why is that? Because people bring different opinions, right? Like, I want you to solve this. Well, everyone has the same background and they're looking at the same problem. They're probably going to come up with the same solutions. So if you have a diverse group of people that you pull together to look at, because at the end of the day, that's what engineering is many times, just solutions, you know, trying to solve some problem. You know, I think finding a mentor is really important. So that was what I did when in my second job, my boss, I basically approached them about developing a kind of a mentor protege relationship. How did he get to where he did? How did he learn to treat other people? And, you know, finding that connection, whether it's someone you work with or it's someone in the industry or it's a, you know, family friend, finding a mentor is really key. But then you got to give it back, right? So then after you become successful and you learn all this stuff, you've got to mentor down. And so it's a big value for me. I have 3 mentees right now that I work with. We set aside 30 minutes every 2 weeks. And we just talk about what do they want to do with their life, where are they headed. And so I felt like it's like kind of giving back. So that's just a few suggestions. So Jacobs, right? So just want to talk briefly. This is much easier for me to talk about than myself. This is a lot of my day job, day in and day out, is talking to clients about Jacobs, right? So we're, you know, the leading global professional services firm, you know, pretty much in the world. We've been in Louisiana for over 30 years. And, you know, we recently kind of reorged, we divested, we're not in oil and gas anymore. We're really in infrastructure. We're in 2 primary lines of business. We're in infrastructure and critical mission solutions. So some of these are you know, why I like working for them, what the values of the firm are. You know, we do the right things. It's how we treat each other. It's how we treat our clients. You know, we always aim higher, challenge the accepted. That's looking at things differently. And, you know, we live inclusion. I talked about that. That's really important to me and to the company. We have a bunch of employee networks that basically try to open the doors and connect these grassroots efforts to build our internal inclusion and diversity. So we talked about this earlier. We're a really big firm. It doesn't feel like a big firm, but it's a big firm. So there's 55,000 employees, 400 offices. You know, we basically, so revenue, like I said, I'm not going to get into the numbers, but we're pretty much number 1 or 2 in all things infrastructure. And I always just, we call it critical mission solutions, but it's rocket science, right? So I'll talk about kind of our lines of business and what we do, but really, so mission critical, that's a lot of our federal work. Resilience is a really core thing that we've been working on, and getting in front of climate change as it's coming, and helping you think about how do we prepare our clients for the new future, right? More storms, more intensity. You look over at Texas, the freeze event. I mean, Texas loses power. Like how do you get prepared for all of these things that are changing? Locally on the coastal side, which I'll talk about some of our projects, that's an easy one on resilience, but there's other pieces of resilience that you don't think about. And Hurricane Gustav, not that any of y'all are going to remember, City of Baton Rouge, one of our clients, had 400 sewer pump stations. So we were working on the sewer infrastructure. They lost power to 400 sewer stations. They didn't have backup generators. They hadn't thought about what happens if we lose, energy power goes down. So these are just little examples of how you can help a client become more resilient as things change. And then I won't get into everything else, but I'll talk about more specifically some of the other things we do. So we have 2 kind of big lines of business. One is critical mission solutions. So think aerospace, automotive, cybersecurity, the Department of Defense. These are big federal agencies that we work for. We don't do a ton on the critical mission solutions in Louisiana, but as a company, it's about 50% of our business. So those are big federal projects, very complex, very complicated. And federal clients and state and local clients, they just do work very differently. So that's why we kind of have 2 different groups that do that work. So these are our clients, right? Department of Defense, the entire U.S. Intelligence Committee, a lot on cyber, and a lot on big data, Department of Energy, NASA. So my daughter was thinking about going into aerospace, and so she was really excited about the internships and things that Jacobs offers in that space. So this is where I live, right? So I'm in our People, Places, and Solutions business group. It's just infrastructure, right? So we do everything from transportation to water to the built environment. So actually, vertical buildings, environmental, my background, advanced facilities, things like chip manufacturing. Intel, when they build these chip manufacturing facilities, they're very complex, very technical, a billion-dollar plant. We'll be involved in the design on that. And then a lot on healthcare as well. So most of my clients here in Louisiana are the state of Louisiana, the city of Baton Rouge, and the city of New Orleans. Those are my big key clients. And when you're a firm our size, a lot of the things you always hear about are the really big, complex projects. So like the Panama Canal, when they did a second Panama Canal, we were the program managers for that. It's not up here. One of my favorite was the London Olympics, 2012. We designed, build, operated, turnkey. We actually finished the London Olympics a year ahead of schedule. And then the client was like, well, what are we going to do now? And they're like, well, we can run it for you for the next year. So like being able to do all of these diverse things is pretty interesting. I'm not exactly familiar with what we did. We probably did the design on one World Trade Center, and then London Crossrail. So we're global. So these are the big projects. But just here in Louisiana, it's kind of the same thing, right? So it's even mega projects at our scale. So the Baton Rouge SSO program. So that was a sewer. Sewer's not sexy. People just want to flush the toilet and have it work. And Baton Rouge had not done anything on sewer for 30 years. So we managed that project on behalf of the city. It was $1.6 billion. So a big mega project, and we were the project manager or the program manager. The one above that, so that's the Mississippi River sediment diversion. So the state is trying to reconnect the Mississippi River to its estuaries so they can do a controlled flooding and rebuild land. So we're program managers on that's 2, and they're each about $1 billion. The New Orleans, the RSD school system after Katrina, they had to rebuild every single school in the whole area of New Orleans. So we were project managers and program managers for that. And we're continuing to help Sewage and Water Board with, that's my the utility in New Orleans, and we're helping them on their power and their asset side. So those are big projects we're going on now that are, those are all my clients that I get to work with the team on. And then I talked about some of the values, right? Why I like Jacob. So like, beyond zero, basically that's our health and safety, our commitment, because we're committed to our staff staying safe and coming home from work every day better than when they left. Plan beyond, right? So that sustainability is a really core value for the firm. We track our own greenhouse gas emissions, and we try to have a net zero, and we have we have our own climate action plan. And then giving and volunteering, that's a really big thing that is not only near and dear to me, but most of my employees. So we give back to the communities that we live in, whether it's feeding the homeless at St. Vincent de Paul, Habitat for Humanity. The list goes on and on. I talk a lot about that. And I mentioned this, right? So these are our kind of employee networks, Together Beyond. So those are all grassroots employees, everything from Harambe, to Enlace, our Hispanic, to Prism, to VetNet. So those are all employee networks. So you don't have to be within that group to participate. Those are we meet monthly, we talk about initiatives and much like probably how y'all get together and share thoughts and ideas. So I'll pause there. Any questions on Jacobs before I talk about my tools for success? Yes.
I'm always listening to this for internships. Experience learning is really one of our highest priorities for
Yes, we have had internships for at least the last 10 years, right? So y'all share my information with y'all, but yes, we see huge value in internships. It's dual value, right? The employee gets to decide if they like consulting and engineering and what we do. And then we also get a test run and you get an idea of what things are out there. But for the most part, yes, we are very big on internships.
Are you all recruiting beyond engineering?
So yes, you don't have to be an engineer, right? And I'll be honest, that's probably mostly what we do hire. But as an example, right, I'm an environmental scientist. We have geologists, we have other folks, not just engineering. But that tends to be more of the focus. However, I think it goes back to what I spoke to earlier, right? Differentiating yourselves. It isn't just the degree. It isn't just your grades. It's these days, it's the whole package. What else are you doing? I think that makes a huge difference. So as I thought about this, right? Hopefully I touched on a lot of these things because, that kind of validates at least what I was trying to cover. And so that's one of the ways I like to present is not 100% talk off the slides, just have the dialogue, but come back to what these mean. So find your passion, right? You can control what you can control. Your behavior, your attitude, your drive, no one's going to be able to come in and change that. So you have to figure out at the end of the day, what are you really passionate about when you start thinking about your career goals? Because a paycheck is great, right? Having a job is great. But you really have to find what really excites you and what you want to do. And that should be one of your first big steps as you start thinking about your next career or your career. Technical ability, right? So that's the other piece. Try to make sure and find that thing that you can do better than others. And typically when you get the job, you're going to have to require a very specific technical ability. You may have to really push yourself and get outside of your comfort zone. It's really important. I mean, that was really how I differentiated myself, was finding something that nobody else on the team was able to do. And it did elevate me. And I think you have to have that, definitely. So communication, right? You can have all the technical ability in the world. And I really like to make fun of engineers about this because they are not the best communicators, right? So I'm not an engineer. I play an engineer on TV. I get to represent the firm, and communication is so key, right? Being able to talk, being able to listen, being able to write really good emails, right? It's funny, you think about that, like an email is a deliverable. If you're emailing a client, that's a deliverable. They're going to see that, right? It's not like texting. It's funny. I ask so many people that we hire, like, what's your favorite degree and what's your least favorite? Everyone says their least favorite, class is English. It's like, but English is huge. So, our deliverables as consultants is typically reports. I mean, they're big reports. They need to be written, right? Communication is primarily email. So communication is huge. And it's not just one way. You've got to be able to sit there and listen and read your teammates, read eventually your clients. So that's a really big piece. Something I'd suggest doing, it was an interesting exercise, and I should have thrown a slide up here. They call it insights. And it talks about communication styles. And there's actually colors associated with it. So if you're red, you're a driver, right? If you're blue, you're very data-driven and analytical. If you're green, you're very emotive and emotional. And I'm trying to remember what yellow is, right? So it's self-reflective in figuring out where you are, and then it enables you to communicate because you find out the best ways to communicate with your other team workers and coworkers. So I'm dead straight in the green and the yellow. I'm not the driver type. I'm not super analytical. I really enjoy things like this. A lot of people don't like public speaking. But it also, knowing your own communication style and tendencies helps you communicate well with others and be more receptive to information. And that kind of gets back to understanding yourself, right? I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. And so it's really important to be reflective and know where you're coming from and what motivates you, which even comes back to finding your passion. And then integrity. You always have to act with integrity. You have to act the same way when no one's looking that's when they are. Your reputation, your professional reputation, and your word, you won't get a second chance at that. So integrity is really, really important. I talked about teamwork and inclusion. Most of the jobs you get into these days, you're going to be a part of a broader team. You have to be able to work well with others. There's a certain number of folks that I've worked with that, put their headphones on, put their heads down. They're just doers. And if that's you, then that comes back to that, understanding yourself. Maybe you need to put yourself and push yourself and become a little more, team driven, because that's how most work is done these days is in team settings and team environments. I talked about it earlier, accountability and time management, right? Make sure, you have the opportunity now, right? How you're treating college. Don't do it like I did the first time, right? Really manage your time. It's invaluable. No matter what you go into, what field, you're going to have deadlines, you're going to have deliverables, you're going to have things that you have to, do well, show up early. Like time management is absolutely key. I won't talk on project management because I've said so much about that. Business acumen, once again, I think that's a really important phase for you to begin to understand, or you don't have to go on at the earliest steps and start understanding that, but it's something to push yourself on. And then stretch goals, to me, stretch goals and never say no go together. I feel like, most firms would rather you stretch towards some other role or some other project and fail than stay in your comfort zone the whole time. If you're putting in for a job and you're not a little nervous, are you really pushing yourself? Like, how do you make sure that you're stepping outside your comfort zone? And most firms are looking for that, right? They're looking for people that, hey, it's great you're doing this, but and so, in my career, I probably had 3 big stretches, things I put in for that I wasn't ready for. I didn't think I was ready for, but hey, was able to actually do it and succeed and then move on to the next level. And then the last one is build your network, right? Your networks are being established right now. It's a very small, so 55,000 people, right? The city of Baton Rouge. I think about my own professional network. People I've worked for become clients. People that were clients become competitors. People that were competitors, we hire. It is a smaller group than you realize. Now, that may be a function of Baton Rouge and engineering in particular, but regardless of what field you go into, your network is key. It's going to help you get to answers. It's going to help you build your team out. It's going to help you grow in your career. And once someone's in your network, never let them go, right? Stay connected to them. And now more so than ever, I feel like with the connected world we live in, it's actually easier to build your networks, LinkedIn profiles, you can get out there, employee network groups, y'all sitting here right now, like that's really, really key on your long-term success in your career. And I think that might be it. Yes, ma'am.
I just have one question.
Sure.
Because I noticed, you said it before, and it was on the slide, that never say no. And so like, usually people say like the opposite, like, they're like, don't be afraid to say no to something, whatever. Have you ever like said yes, and it ended up being like too much for y'all to like handle, or, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I'm a yes person, sometimes I say yes way too much. So like I say yes to this, and that, and I don't get a chance to really invest in what I wanted to, because I take on too much.
So I think that's a multifaceted answer, at least for me, right? So I think if it's a role or an opportunity, it is, I would always say yes, right? If it's a task and there's no way you can meet that task, it kind of gets back to that scope schedule. Hey, I need you to do this and I need it by tomorrow. If that's literally like, there's no possible way you can meet that, I think you don't say yes at that point. You have that conversation at that point. A lot of my, like when I was being self-reflective and thought about never say no. So I didn't talk about it specifically, but when I became vice president and an area manager, right? So my mentor left the firm. He actually became a client. And this was going to be the person that led the Louisiana operations. And I was very new into my career, probably 5 years in. And I knew who the incumbent was, right? So I knew the person who was going to be putting in for that job. And I figured that they were for sure going to get it. And that person, didn't have all these value systems that I talked about. So I literally put in for the role, and I didn't think there was any way I would get it, because I did not think that person should be the leader. And I was very surprised when I got it. And so that's when I say never say no. That was, at least for me on my journey, one of those very big stretch roles for me. And it was a little bit of playing defense, right? Because I didn't think that guy should be the leader of our office. But you do have to find the balance. You don't want to overcommit. But I feel like, early on in my career, you really, I don't say we didn't have a choice, but that was the job. Like, hey, I need you to go and do this. Well, you're just going to go and do it. And it might be a 12-hour day. It might be a 13 or 14-hour day. And I just never said no. And that is one of the reasons why I guess, I've reached the place I am. So. Questions? I probably talk too fast. I'm a fast talker. Yes.
Not a question.
Sure.
This was really interesting. So thanks.
No problem. What are y'all thinking about before I let y'all off the hook? So what do you want to do when you graduate? What kind of job you want to get?
So I'm in agriculture business.
Mm-hmm.
So the real steps of research when we're talking about research associates.
Mhm.
So my main goal is I really want to be a restaurant.
Okay.
So I have a session to the culinary class, and I'm still going over what I want to do, but I know.
So when you think that is what you want to do, like when you say like that's the job, go talk to someone who does that. Like sit down with them and say, explain to me your career. What's a life, what's a day in the life? Like what all are you doing day to day? Because I think that's what's really important. You got to connect with the person who's doing the job to understand what it is. You can't figure it out just online, in no offense, not even in academia, right? Like you have to talk to someone who's out there doing that sort of work to really know what the job entails. That's kind of my opinion. What are you gonna do?
I have no idea.
When do you graduate?
2 years.
Okay, so you got a little time. So I'll say this, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do, at least figure out what you don't want to do.
Right.
Okay, because that's going to eliminate a lot of noise. Like I know, I loved being out in the field, right? I loved being out in nature. So that was why I became an environmental scientist. My first 3 years, I was outside the office every single day. Unfortunately, now I'm in the office every day. But hey, I don't want to do this. I don't want to at least begin narrowing it down. And look, y'all are challenged, right? When I went to college, you could go to college and figure it out. My daughter's, she's got to declare not only what major, but like what kind of engineer she wants to be, which to me is a little absurd, but I guess that's the world we live in now. So.
I have a question for you. and you
Sure.
actually just kind of touched on it, But you said that you have like a big connection with the coast.
Yes.
Consultancy. So I'm assuming like as you've moved up through the scale, you've become more detached.
Yeah,
from those
unfortunately.
sorts of
Yeah,
things.
absolutely. That's the tough thing, right? So
Yeah.
I went back, I actually came back to LSU and was going to get my master's in coastal because I wanted to do more and more coastal. And then had a daughter, I got a promotion to vice president, and I basically had to sacrifice that because of the other roles and opportunities that were offered me. I still stay close to the clients and as close as I can to the projects. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not like
Yeah.
actually not directly solving the problem anymore. I'm more on the outside.
How do you cope with that, and how do you like keep connected to that thing that keeps you going, that mission that you have?
So for me, it is about, in my current role, what I can do is set strategy, identify clients, and find projects, right? So at Jacobs, I feel like we're only as strong as our staff. So I want to find the most challenging projects that are going to allow the staff to get excited about doing the work and growing their careers. So that's a thing that I can control. And there's all sorts of different projects we could pursue, but I try to find the really challenging ones because it kind of keeps the cycle going, right? You're able to bring in the best talent. People want to work on those sorts of projects. The clients get happy, they hire us again. So you can just keep that cycle going. But that's, yeah, you'll find as you get longer in the tooth, right? Unfortunately, your priorities may have to shift some. So. Oh, nice. An attorney. My least favorite people to talk to. No, and I'm talking about my attorneys, my internal attorneys, right? Because they're the ones who don't want me to pursue some of the projects that are the most challenging. But anyhow.
Figure out, but I have a question.
Sure.
The first 3 years were very much in the field. What kind of examples do you have?
So that was actually during the cell tower boom, right? So actually at that time they were building cell towers left and right. So I did a lot of the NEPA work, which is threatened endangered species, wetland surveys, basically historic structures. There was a ton of work around everywhere they were going to put a cell tower. You had to do basically like a mini NEPA for each of those sites. And then, as I evolved, I got into remediation, which is cleaning up contaminated sites. So in the field, soil and groundwater samples and air samples. And so it was probably 5 years straight in the field, which was great at the time. I don't want to do it now. I mean, I miss it a little, but so.
I'm in food science and technology, so I'm interested in either product development or some form of quality assurance. I'm the biggest fan of analytics statistics.
That's all right. That's all right. I mean, as long as you know what you don't want to do, that's a big part of the game. And last. Which are you gonna go to this vet school or where? Any of them? Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to have at least some interaction and talk. Oh wait, I forgot. Okay, what you gonna do? Large or a small animal? Okay. So are there online questions or how do you want to wrap up?
No, we're good.
Okay. Yep. All right. No, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity to come back and talk. And I'm now part of your network. So you get my email, and if I could help in any way, please reach out.
Thanks.